Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative. Today we're here with the new DJI Action 4. I have really loved this camera. I have used it at home in the dark, comparing it to the Action 2, the Action 3, and surprisingly, I want to say something first. The Action 2 seems to have a little bit of a better low light in the exact same settings that I tend to shoot in. Those settings are 4K, 30 frames per second with regular Rocksteady. Not Rocksteady Plus or anything, but that's actually what we are in right now. Just regular Rocksteady, and we are, ultra wide. And that's just what I basically shoot with, and it seems to do pretty well. But this is just like on the next level. I turn all the lights off in my place. I can still see around me. It does a really great job at just kind of basically seeing in the dark. Right now, I know we can't see any of this because it's midday. We have light everywhere. But yeah, in another review, we're going to be taking a look at just how well this does here. So I'm excited. But anyway, I got this a few days ago, and I've been pretty good. But yeah, let's see what there is to say. What I'm trying to do is trying to see the use case that other people will be using this. Oh, by the way, we are recording with the regular mics coming out of here. We do have the DJI mic set too, which eventually we'll try because it integrates pretty well with this over Bluetooth. But for me, we're just doing regular mic. I haven't adjusted any of the settings. I have turned this to Pro, and that's basically it. But I just want to go and see what other people will use this as, because for me, I use this as kind of like a dash cam on my electric bike because I want to keep myself honest. I want to keep everybody around, pedestrians and people in cars honest too, because here in New York City, it's kind of like not a war zone, but it's just like people don't care in either way. So to have this pointed out, it's kind of just good to have a record of my travels. By the way, for this, I have that little cage that comes with this camera because we get that standard combo, which I just have to say, it comes in a tiny, tiny box. They do really well with the spacing of this. They have the camera, they have the cage, but what they put inside the cage is basically everything that you need. Let's see, you have your little magnetic clip mount. You have like a little kind of curved piece where you can actually mount it maybe on a helmet, on a car, something like that. I don't trust those little glue things, so I don't tend to use them just because it's freezing cold outside. That could deteriorate the glue and just could cause some issues. And especially in the summer too, the heat would mess that up. So I really just don't do that. I always screw mount it on just to kind of have this here. But I'm sorry, I go on tangents and tangents, but I don't have a selfie stick or anything. Right now, again, we're in ultra wide. My right arm got tired from holding this out for a little bit, so I'm switching to my left. But I'm able to see myself very clearly in this front-facing screen, and I think that does a great job. So outside of my use, which is basically dash cam and just like security device, I'm kind of curious to see, is vlogging still a thing? I know I'm doing this right now to kind of review this because we're trying to test out the stabilization on this camera, but do people really vlog anymore? When I do my videos, when we do our podcasts, when we do anything, everybody seems to be just kind of seated. They don't, they're not on the go. They are at the point of where they are. Like they're at their office or they're at their home. And kind of like the on the go has been kind of just like, I feel like it's kind of pointless. Unless that's all the time that you have. Now, at least for me, I can't really record on the go because I'm on the bike. Unless I find something that I can mount it, maybe I could do something like this. And also, maybe the AI noise cancellation on the DJI Mic 2 would help. It's a possibility. Maybe I'm going to try this out. Maybe I can start recording things on the bike, but that means I would be distracted. Maybe it's just not the right thing to do, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud. But in terms of being an action cam, you probably have seen my other videos on the DJI Action 2, where I call that was my favorite camera. But it's really a lifestyle camera. They've really hindered that camera. They've really gone and this, again, tangent on tangent on tangent. They've really gone and just crippled that camera. On a 50-degree day, I get warnings on almost all of the DJI Action 2s that I have that it is too cold to record. And it says, please record in 1080p. Try to record in 1080p, doesn't record at all, just doesn't do anything. And they've really gone back and found ways to cripple and disable these cameras, forcing people to buy, I guess, the Action 3 or the Action 4. Very disappointed. I do not like DJI as a company, but for their innovation and their usability, it's something that I can't afford to stay away from. That's just something that I have to deal with here. That was weird. But anyway, I like this camera. I'm picking up food. I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. We're being healthy today and we're having some McDonald's. That's just a snack. That's all it is. This morning I had a fruit smoothie, which is a lot better than this. But anyway, back to the camera. We're using this right now in ideal conditions, extra wide so I don't have to stick out my hand a lot. And this is kind of what I really recommend people to do. This is a camera with an extremely wide field of view, and I think it's just perfect for kind of on the go. What I'm going to be using this camera for is, again, my dash cam, but because I'm releasing a new podcast, I'm going to be using that dual mic setup and just having this on no rock steady, no anything, but ultra wide. I'm going to put this on the tripod and I'm going to be recording the podcast. So I'll have myself, I'll have somebody else, but we'll have an ultra wide field of view so that we can see everything perfectly. Now, because this is going to be more of an on-the-go setup, I'm not going to bring the professional lighting. If you know anything about me, I hate carrying stuff. I hate carrying stuff that I don't need all the time, and even if it's something that I do need, I don't like carrying that either. So I want to keep things minimal, but because this has a 1-inch sensor, because this is so well in low light, I mean, the simplest things that I'm going to be doing is not on the road like this, but I'm going to mount this like this. It's going to be myself over here. It's going to be my friend over here. We'll each be mic'd up. We'll be far away enough where we can get both in the frame, and we'll still be able to be heard, because I know with this camera, without the mics, right here, this is perfect, but the further and further you get, it's just going to become an issue with hearing people properly. And one of the key things that I've learned is lighting's great, but sound is optimal, because if you're going to be releasing this as an audio-only podcast, you need that sound to be great. If you're going to be releasing this as a video podcast, even on YouTube, that sound needs to be great. I think that is one of the most important things. So whatever crappy camera that you have, whether you have an iPhone 6, I would say get a mic set, because people will be listening to this, they'll be doing something else. I don't think the visuals are prime, which for me, it's going to be great, because I'm not going to be kind of editing back and forth. I'm going to have this wide shot, maybe focus in on key moments, but it's basically just going to be a wide shot with myself and the guest. So I think something like this with a big sensor that's just going to be mounted like this is great. And you may ask, why this over maybe a mirrorless camera or maybe a compact camera? It's not as wide as this. It really is not as wide. It's not as stable as this. And I almost thought maybe I'm going to do this podcast with the Pocket 3. But that's still not wide enough. And even with that extra wide angle lens, that's not something I feel like is going to be usable. This is kind of everything in one. And I'm really excited about this. But anyway, guys, this is kind of just like first thoughts on the DJI Action 4. And again, our settings are 4K 30 frames per second in regular rock steady. I'll be trying it again with the mic in different settings at night, seeing how this does, you know, with like the normally bad action camera look, you know, after the sun goes down. But I guess I do have to remind you, I live in the city, so regardless of what time it is, there's always kind of light around. So we'll see how we can try this out. Maybe we'll go to Central Park where there's no lights, and we'll see if we can find something that works. Anyway, you can see how low the camera has gotten at this point because my arm is getting tired. And again, this is another thing. Other cameras are not wide enough, but that also means other cameras are heavier. They, you know, remember Casey Neistat with the GorillaPod? It's just a lot to carry. And all this, I can do this if I really need to do it, but it's, yeah, my arm is starting to get tired. Anyway, guys, if you have any comments or questions, put it in the comments section below. Don't forget, I'm on Instagram and Threads at M8P9. You can email me at creativenyc2024@gmail.com. Thank you, guys, and I will see you next time.